Okay, hello. Welcome back to the podcast On the House. I'm Alex. I've got Tyler here as usual.
Hello.
And today we've got a very special guest, one of our top salespeople at Rochester Homes, the Jesse Flynn.
How we all doing?
Okay, we're out here on the 68th floor of the Cosmopolitan in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, with an incredible view of the Bellagio fountain and the mountains in the background, and we're having an incredible time at the International Builder Show this week. We're going to talk today about some of the products we've seen and some of the building methods that we've seen displayed today, and we're going to hopefully enlighten you on some of the new stuff that's coming out in the industry.
I don't know. Not that much new stuff, though, in my opinion.
Some of it was already seen last year. I agree with you. Okay, so first and foremost, Jesse Flynn.
Sir.
Introduction.
Introduction is, my name's Jesse Flynn. I'm a sales rep at Rochester Homes. Been there for about 7 years now. Keeps growing. I want to say it's because of me, but I'm sure it's not. It's been really exciting out here in Las Vegas, checking everything out. Seen a lot of stuff that I haven't seen today. I know these guys went last year and saw a few things that were there last year, but I never got to see it, so it was new to me, and I'm pretty excited about it.
Okay, and Jesse, you've got a background in sales, and before you were at a sales organization, you worked for or managed.
Yeah, I was assistant manager at a Carter Lumber there in Rochester, Indiana. After that, I sold some cars for a little bit. Background is I went to Manchester College, business degree, so kind of putting that towards the salesmanship that I'm doing now.
Yeah, I actually worked with Jesse a little bit when we were at Carter together.
Yep.
And I would argue that Jesse was your boss.
Would you argue that?
I mean,
I don't know if I go that far.
At the very least, a superior.
Yeah, I steered him in the right directions a couple weekends.
Sales thing, sale.
He was just a pup at the time,
Yeah,
so that makes sense. Okay, so the first thing we did this morning was we visited the Building Systems Council room, where we got to see a prestigious award that was won by yours truly, Rochester Homes, for excellence in home design for the Avery model. If you haven't seen that, check it out on the website. You can do a virtual walkthrough of that model. So that was kind of fun, seeing the fruits of the labor.
Yep, a lot of things in that house that were here today as well that we're probably going to talk about.
Yeah, we saw a couple log homes that won some awards.
East Coast stuff, though, wasn't it?
I believe so. I don't know to be precise, but we saw some log stuff. We saw some. Was there panelized stuff in there? I mean, I know the Building Systems Council is the arm of the NAHB, the National Association of Home Builders, that encompasses anything that's basically not site built. I shouldn't say anything because we've already talked about tiny homes on the show. We haven't really talked about like concrete.
It seemed like anything. It seemed like those posters though were all mainly modular manufacturers.
Modular, panelized, and then so last podcast we talked about panelized, we talked about modular, we talked about site built. We didn't talk about log, which is kind of a mix between modular and panelized depending on the manufacturer you're dealing with. Sometimes they put it all together first and then take it all apart in pieces.
I honestly don't know a lot about log stuff.
It was neat looking stuff, though.
Do you know?
It was neat looking stuff, and the Building Systems Council kind of encompasses that, so it was kind of nice to be recognized in that area. Okay, so then we went down to the show. There's 3 pavilions. We made it through one today. We made it through the biggest one, though.
I honestly don't know because it's so big.
It's monstrous.
Yeah, we probably only made a third of the way through.
We didn't get to do the outdoor exhibit today. I'm excited to do that tomorrow. There's another modular manufacturer there who Tyler previewed. And
I don't know. From my perspective, I didn't really like the way the house was put together. I mean, it just goes back to what we've talked about in the past, where a lot of times I don't think our industry generally, as a whole, a lot of times, especially for show models, puts it together as good as they could have. The one in Orlando was put together incredible. That was by Palm Harbor Homes. In fact, I actually love that floor plan. Alex, we're talking about that earlier in the week. But
like outdoor living.
Yeah, it's got the big trend seems to be the big sliding patio doors.
Big sliding patio doors.
Big, yeah, like we're up to, they can go up to 24 foot. Anderson, I think Anderson even offers it up to a 48-foot, where the
You're
panels...
talking wide here.
Yeah, 48-foot wide.
That's all. Okay, so the first booth we walked into was Anderson, and we saw a 3-panel curved glass.
Which is incredible. It's got to be
Just like
most ridiculously expensive door you can
six-figure
imagine.
door.
I would think.
Very cool. Very cool, though.
And but how tall was it?
12 foot, would you say? 14 foot?
Oh, man, I would have guessed.
Yeah, I think it was at least 14.
I would have guessed 16. We're going to go find out tomorrow now.
Yeah, we're going to have to check that back out.
We'll have to write that down. So we'll check that out. But
it was incredible. I mean, you'd have to build your home around that door.
Yeah.
I mean, like
that's
that
point.
Yeah, for sure.
And there was a couple of those at the show.
Yeah. Well, I didn't see. There was
another one. There was another one that had 4 panels. Was not quite as rounded.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I'd call it like
what is a wood frame?
Wood frame, and then it had like a wood screen for one panel that was kind of behind the door system, so you could potentially block like the worst case scenario sun. It was well thought out.
What percentage of that is their sales? You think, Alex?
I feel like you're trying to make a point here, Tyler. It's less than 1%. It has to be.
Well, what point am I trying to make specifically with the curved doors? And let's go with Anderson booth in general. What am I trying to make a point
that
about?
Marketing tends to show what is possible and is not what is done every day.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yep.
Not my first day hanging out with you.
The Anderson 400 series, they're bread and butter, but right at the front of the booth, you got this great big curved door that makes us drool, and they hardly sell any of them.
But we walked in because of that.
You're absolutely right.
It definitely grabbed our attention.
Yep.
That's for sure.
Okay, so we saw a lot of sliding door panels. In the Midwest, that's a tough one. Because you got to have a good sliding door panel, and then you have to have a good screen, in my opinion, unless you want a bunch of mosquitoes and bugs living in your room, in your living room specifically, in most of these layouts. Or, if you don't have a good screen, which some of them are coming out with, that are pretty nice, then you have to have a screened-in room.
Yeah. Well, what worries me more even than the screen, though, is weather tightness, right? I mean, originally it was made for the southern climates where you could seal them up, and a lot of those, like the one we walked in, I don't remember who the manufacturer was, but they specifically really were not designed at all for our climate.
Yeah, that was more for like sunroom or something of that sort, to where it's not really meant for exterior doors. It's just kind of a divider.
Yeah, that was Nanowall, and that's one of my favorite folding wall system manufacturers. So, kudos to them for being one of the first to the market, as far as I understood, and one of the best in the marketplace. They had frame door systems. Yeah. Well, what we looked at, what Tyler's referring to, is a frameless door system, which was really meant to be more of like
Three Seasons room,
Florida, California, super warm climates, probably right next to a covered porch where you're never going to see water, because there was literally no barrier between the outside and the inside once the door was closed underneath the panes of glass, right?
Yeah. I'll be interested to see what that market does. I mean, we've talked about this for the last year. It's just, I think it was the first year we went to the show, so it's been 2 years now. You look at those doors, and it's like just that basic concept, can it be in the Midwest, I think it's awesome. I mean, I know if I build another house, that's what I'm going to make my focal point of, is just giant patio doors. If you could do a 24-foot up to even a 36-foot patio door, that's incredible.
Yeah, but just being able to open up to... So what we're getting at here is, one of the big topics of the day was sliding sliding walls.
Yeah, I think Anderson refers to them as, literally, if you go to their spec sheet on their website, is big doors.
Yeah, door walls, I think I've heard them called before. And, hinged or sliding, framed or frameless, they were a big part of the show. Mm-hmm. There was 10 manufacturers, bare minimum, who spent a ton of money putting together some of the best booths to show that product. So people want to live inside and outside.
Yep.
That was the trend.
Now, what does that require from a heating cooling standpoint, Alex?
We've gone too far already. I didn't mean to get this deep already. We're already talking about products. My initial goal, I'm going to circle back for a second and I want to know from a first-time IBS, terrible acronym, I know that, but International Builder Show is called IBS, unfortunately. I want to know from a first-time IBS attendee's perspective, Jesse, what did you think of the show? Give me your general. I don't want to talk about products. Don't name names. I want to know how it made you feel to walk through those, to walk through the conference center today.
Well,
Convention center.
As a whole, I understand what they're doing. They're trying to market their product. What a great way to do it in Las Vegas. I believe last year it was in Florida, correct? And a lot of those products that you just mentioned, they are catering to that type of area. You know, the warm states. For instance, right now we're in Las Vegas, close to California. They're going to market that kind of stuff. What I just heard both of you talk about was, and we're probably a little biased because we're from the Midwest where it gets cold. You know, a lot of people don't think of efficiency in furnaces and heat and cool in the windows as much as
Why do you say that?
I'm just saying, you know, Florida, you know, you have a lot of warm temperatures. It doesn't get real cold, so you don't have to worry too much about that.
Well, I'm saying
in a big picture.
Why do you say that based off of what you saw at the show?
Because a lot of what we talked about today and we saw today was more towards the warmer climates.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking about patio doors don't seal too well. They're not too worried about that. We haven't really talked about it, but we talked about a ductless system today. Furnace-wise, heat and cool. That would be really good for something that we can put into our houses, but I don't think it's really equipped quite to where we are in the Midwest because of the temperatures. Whereas Florida, California, closer to where we are today, I think it would probably be a little better tool.
Well, you think a lot of it? I think just especially the manufacturers just trying to cover the whole realm of things. You know, the guys that build in Canada all the way down to Texas or whatever, down to Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing that I saw today, just a lot of new things in my eyes. Countertops are coming out with some really cool stuff. They're coming out with a lot of more solid surface stuff that I haven't really seen, especially in our kind of product.
What was just that one product that you saw?
No, there's a couple.
Look, we can't help but kind of deep dive here. What keeps happening is like we're talking a little bit about heating and cooling, which is a big topic of today. We're talking a little bit more about, you know, the door walls, which is a big topic today. Now we're into countertops. I want you to pick 1 to 3 words. When you walk through there today, what did you think of that show?
What did I think of that show? I was impressed, really, with the capability of product. I think that they are definitely catering to maybe 10, 15 years ahead, kind of showing you what you're going to see.
Is it 10, 15 years ahead or 10 or 15% of the marketplace?
I would agree with that comment as well. Yeah. I definitely think a lot of what we had seen today is not a large percent of the market.
See, I'd say not 10 to 15%. I'd say more like 5% of the market.
Well, I guess my question is what market? I mean, are we talking
about in general
our market, or are we talking about a custom home market in Indianapolis? You know, big builder.
Well, in general, I'm just saying, you know,
and what booth? I think it's very booth dependent too.
You think? I don't know, man. It seems like everything that we walked into, it's like here. I mean, I hear you a little bit to that extent, but a lot of the times, and I get it. You know, we're going to throw out, boom, this is what we can do, but this, you know, back in that little dark corner is what we do every day. Which that I think the show typically a lot of times is you go in and it's like that's the front thing that you walk into is this is what we can do, this is the direction that the market's trending towards, and that's where that's where I think we can get value out of this whole thing. But the bottom line is, you know, how much of that will stick and how much of that will not stick, and that's all time will tell.
Well, I think that's the only way people can find out about new products, though.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you have to throw something out there to see if something grabs onto it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it grabs onto it, then we're going to break everything down to make it a better product, less expensive, but still get what you saw.
Yep. Well, a lot of times, how much money? Where's the money going to come to back it to make it so that product's affordable? A lot of the times, too.
Well, and I think that's why they have these kind of shows, is just to see what people really like. I think they know when they put it in some kind of show like this that they're really not going to get big sales on it right away. But the feedback that they get from people that do it every day, like us and other builders, that's great feedback for them, so they can focus on what's going to sell in the future and how to benefit that product to get the price down and keep selling it in the future.
Yeah, I would just continue to argue that I understand both your points, but I would continue to argue that it's booth dependent almost. I mean, let's take two prime examples, Kohler and Delta. Kohler has arguably the best booth of the show.
Oh, without a doubt.
I will go back to the Kohler booth tomorrow, even though I walked through today, because it's just so jaw-droppingly impressive. There's water spraying everywhere. It's fun to walk through. There's hip music. It's got dark spaces. It's just like modern and fun to walk through, and you just feel like you're at the front of the design spectrum.
And if there's any builders that want to watch Alex in that Kohler booth, I have a video that will show it of him with his head spinning, with all the different shower heads going off. It was hilarious.
We'll try to...
we all know which ones Alex likes.
Yeah,
because it's like, oh geez, walk away.
Just let me know. I'll text you the video.
We'll try to get Zach to... Zach's our marketing guru, one of our marketing gurus. He's the tech marketing guru. We'll try to get him to somehow, tag that onto this podcast. I don't know how that works, but maybe we can do that. Anyways, you walk into the Kohler booth, and there's these giant rainfall shower heads that make you feel like you're in, and you can choose from a southeastern Australian rain, or like maybe this is an English rain. It's just like... It's ridiculous how much thought they've put into this ridiculously high-end design. How much was that toilet? How much was the...
Oh, that one toilet. I mean, you can get
toilet,
Uni,
something like that?
Yeah, you can get a toilet from $5,000 up to $10,000 with Kohler.
Yeah.
It's insane.
So, to speak to your point, Kohler's in there showing the 10% of what they sell. Mm-hmm. And they spent a heck of a lot of money to do it. Beautiful booth.
But they got people, and they got people all over the place.
Yeah, people all over. Now, Delta. No special toilets. I mean, I realize they don't do toilets, but I'm just saying they didn't develop some product, in my opinion, to get people into the booth. They had walls of products that they make and sell every day that are already in their catalog.
Well, and they had new stuff too, but what I respect about Delta is that they focus on building a quality product. I mean, I know that if you get an entry-level Kohler faucet, a lot of times it's made over in China, that is nothing comparable to a Delta faucet. And that's an entry level. If you really want a high-end, the actual Kohler name, it's going to cost you more money than it is the Delta. And I don't know...
Yeah, the real stuff.
The real stuff, yeah.
Like their new ombre faucet.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that today? They always try to do like a photo booth, is what I've found out.
What's an ombre faucet?
I'm going to get there in a second. They always try to do like a photo booth where they want people to come and take pictures. I mean, they're great marketers, obviously. And I think last year or 2 years ago, they had built a bathroom sideways. So like the toilet and the sink and the toilet rod holders, all that stuff were hanging on what would be a wall to me and you. But what they did is make it look like if you turned your phone sideways and took a picture as if the bathroom was, normally oriented and you were hanging on the wall. So they just wanted to get people in. So this year it was an ombre faucet, which was like a black faucet at the base and it gradiented, if that's a word, up to like a gold faucet at the top. So it was kind of a moving color spectrum of the most popular colors, which we'll talk about in a minute here, which is black and gold at the show.
What faucet?
It's a color. Ombre.
I know, but what? The Delta or Kohler?
No, this is Kohler. This
is
Kohler. And they were funneling people in that they could take a picture with this new faucet, and on the wall was a gold sequin and I've got little kids, little girls specifically, and so I recognize this stuff as a sequin material where you can, brush it up and it's one color and brush it down and it's another color. So up it was black and down it was gold, similar to the faucet, and you could write, you could almost write in sequin on the wall before you took a picture with it and say, the name of your company or whatever, and take your picture and do the fun thing. So again, the point is they're an incredible marketer, and then you walked over to the Delta booth and it was, it was
boring.
Function over form.
Yeah. They tried, but it just, I mean, they had faucets running and that kind of crap.
But that being said, we have made the switch totally to Delta faucets because they're reliable, quality at all levels, not totally outrageous on price once you start to get into some of the more decorative stuff.
And frankly, I mean, just the touch and feel of them. Just the standard touch and feel of a Delta faucet versus the entry-level Kohler faucet, it's night and day different. I mean, I know personally from even plumbing them in, you can tell a big difference. The Kohlers, well, we were pretty entry level with Kohler. I think we were pretty entry level with Delta, and you compared the two, and the Delta is without a doubt a heavier faucet, and we have no issues in the field. But at the same time, it goes back to that marketing thing. The Kohler booth was packed. I mean, it was literally shoulder to shoulder.
Shoulder to shoulder, sweating. People sweating because the heat was so high from body temperatures in there.
It just shows you what marketing can do, I guess.
Jesse, you didn't walk into either.
I did not get to, no.
Yeah.
You didn't go in the Kohler booth, huh?
No, we mentioned maybe doing that tomorrow.
We'll hit it again.
And
I want to see it again.
Were you sitting on a Kohler toilet or something?
I don't think it was, actually.
Okay. So we've digressed as usual. And I wanted to go kind of like topic by topic, what I thought some of the popular products were that we saw, and just kind of get some of your guys' feedback on it. I mean, we're going to try to keep this in a reasonable time frame, but we can obviously get a little opinionated about products. So we've talked about the tall door walls, patio doors, whatever you want to call them. Other than that, what would you two say kind of like stuck in your mind as a product that you saw from booth to booth to booth trying to steal the day?
I'll let Jesse answer this one.
I would say that it was the OSB for the exterior of the house. It pretty much stated that it was trying to take away Tyvek house wrap.
The zip system.
All house wraps.
Yeah.
It
was somewhat of it was I think they said
product.
a 7/16 or a 15/32
and a half inch.
And half inch for the exterior of the home, and it had like a layer of wax to where you wouldn't have to put any kind of Tyvek or house wrap or anything like that around it.
So we saw LP had a product, Zip System has a product, GP had a product we saw. I mean, like that was the answer I was hoping you guys would get after, because I felt the same way. I felt like this product is really trying to be an up and coming in the industry, and I see it everywhere. If I see apartment buildings around Indianapolis, I mean, you just see Zip System, LP product, whatever you want to call it.
Ask me my opinion on it, Alex.
I thought it was really interesting how, the samples they had out there, they had water running down it, but yet they taped the seams of the actual OSB or whatever the material was. They taped the seams.
Okay, so first of all, there's two benefits to the product. Correct me if I'm wrong. One is time savings of insulation.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a total bullshit in my opinion.
For us. And that's what
I think it's for anybody. You can throw Tyvek on a house pretty quick. I mean, if you want to take...
But you're already putting panel on.
Yeah, but
is an extra step,
that,
especially if
with
you're
that
on
being,
a scaffolding.
With that being said, yes, anybody can throw Tyvek on a house, but is it installed correctly to get the warranty?
Okay, well, yeah, but it's the same exact concept, but even more with this panel. This panel, you're talking about driving typically like an 8-penny nail every 8 inches in the field. I'm sorry, on the seams, and then every 16 inches in the field, right? Or even more, depending on what the manufacturer's...
Not that different from the regular sheeting.
So it's a galvanized nail that breaks the barrier right there.
Okay, so you're talking about quality. We're not to quality yet. You're skipping the gun. We're
No,
done.
I'm not.
Number one,
I'm
time
talking about the
savings.
product in general.
Time savings. No.
Okay.
Stick to time savings for a moment.
Time savings. I don't see where there's any time savings. You know how long it takes us to put Tyvek on in the plant?
In the plant, and that's what I want to get at, is we're standing on a floor
Mm-hmm.
for all of our levels of construction. Let's say, and we don't do this because we're residential single family and there's very few 4-story homes built, but let's say the 4th story of a 4-story home that was to be built, we would still be standing on the floor wrapping that house in Tyvek because we're production builders who happen to build in a modular setting, who happen to build on the floor. If that same house was being built out on site and you're on the 4th story and you put up all your scaffolding to deck the house, or sheet the house all the way around, and you'd taken it down as you went, and you have to put it back up to sheet the house again in some kind of vapor barrier material, some kind of house wrap.
You got windows to install. You have siding to install. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's why the argument, in my opinion, and any more with commercial building or even with residential building, they have a thing called a pump jack, or they use lifts to go up and down. I mean, for putting on Tyvek, to replace that, I don't see the value in it personally. Yet, now if they could come up with mainly because personally I really think that the Tyvek or any kind of house wrap product is better because it goes on the outside. You're covering up all those fasteners that are actually fastening the OSB to the house.
But you're fastening through those too.
With a little,
I'm saying that
with a little
like
tiny
as a
staple.
devil's advocate because I believe in house wrap too.
Well, yeah, with a tiny staple at the top. I mean, you're just not
or
putting
a
as
cap
many.
nail if you're.
Or if you did it with a cab nail, then yeah, for sure. Then there really isn't a ton of arguments at all.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I guess I don't know. What do you
Jesse,
think?
time savings? Did you see it? Did you hear it from the sales reps?
I don't think we really even talked to one of the reps in regards to what we thought was negative and positive about the product. Maybe that's something we should do. I personally thought it would be a time saver myself, just for the fact that you're only doing it one time. In order to do Tyvek and tape it correctly and able to get the warranty and everything, I just think there's a lot of time on site to do that. For us at the factory, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. But if you're doing a 2-story home in a residential area, it's going to take a lot of time to put Tyvek up. And
you gotta here's my argument though, is you gotta go back and tape those seams. So you put a 4x8 sheet up,
all the seams,
every single seam. So what's the difference between putting that tape up versus going and hanging house wrap?
And my answer to you would be, as you drive through the north side of Indianapolis, which is a growing area, one market, I get it, but it's a growing area, you see mainly Zip System, a little bit of the LP product. I've seen some of the GP product too, but mainly Zip System apartment complexes, big, tall buildings going up. And I gotta believe that there's a lot of people out there who are smarter than we are, running numbers or labor numbers or man hours, whatever.
Either that or it's designed by a commercial architect that's what he believes in.
And I can understand that. I mean, I can.
Yeah.
Because let's get to the second part of that. Quality wise, I mean, first and foremost, small modular plug here, like our home shouldn't be exposed to the point where the OSB is getting a bunch of direct moisture on it.
Well, any home.
Yeah,
I mean, frankly, you don't want water behind it.
I would say the product.
At no point in the building process should ours be exposed whatsoever to that. But even a site-built home, let's say you sheet it one day, you get rain, you house wrap it the next day. That's more exposure than we should ever get.
Correct.
So that was my quick modular plug. But overall quality, do you want that waxy buildup product being the only protectant from moisture to your house? And we walked by one of the panels, and I think Tyler was you who I kind of saw some of the waxy buildup was kind of hanging over the edge of the piece and touched it, and it just flaked off.
Yep.
And it was just kind of ooh, yikes.
I mean, what worries me more is the nailing. I mean, number one with codes now, you have to have a shear wall. I asked the rep specifically at LP about shear walls. Number one, he didn't know what a shear wall was, which was a little bit concerning. And then number two, as far as fastening on it, if we're fastening for, well, it's actually considered a brace wall panel, but as far as fastening on it, he pretty much said, you just shoot a galvanized nail in it, and that's it. There's nothing, like, you're breaking that wax barrier. So that's what worries me about the whole thing. So their argument is, you get moisture behind the siding, you break that wax barrier, moisture goes in, it gets on OSB swells. Bottom line. I mean, I like GP's product where it's just designed. It's an OSB decking that's designed to have a little bit of moisture in it.
Okay, so I was going to get into that too. Okay, so now we're no longer talking about a coated product that's meant to be stand up to water forever. Now you're talking about like a flooring system that's meant to go down and eventually be covered in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, it's a
but
flooring.
Over the course
I don't know
of the first 60 days, now they're saying like we've got so many chemicals in this, frankly, that it can withstand water for 60 days.
Yeah, and I don't know the details behind it. All I know is that it's a little bit more money, and a lot of site builders now are using it specifically on the floor. That you'll install it, and it can literally rain on that floor.
Yeah.
For 30 to 60 days, and you have no problems.
Well, I had one of our newer builders who also owns a lumberyard. They were shopping us, and they were courting us, and they were comparing our products, and one of the people that worked with him said, well, you guys don't use the Adventech flooring, so that's subpar. And he stopped them. He had the wherewithal, and I was surprised to see this, but it was refreshing to see. He had the wherewithal to stop them and say, well, why would we want to pay extra money to this company to install Adventech flooring, whose main purpose is to be, water resistant for the first 60 days of the build, when these guys don't get hit by water?
Yeah.
And
I don't think
paying more, and you're getting more chemicals, and yada.
Yeah, I don't think that product would ever apply to the modular industry, just because obviously it's the way we build it should never. If your floor gets wet, you got bigger problems.
Yeah,
like your drywall falling on your floor.
It never happens.
No.
Never.
No.
Okay, so you guys want me to keep rolling through some of the notes that I took with products and get your feedback? Or did you guys take some notes on, or do you want to go ahead and insert some products to make sure we got enough time for the products that you saw that you were?
I want Jesse to. I like to hear from Jesse.
Well, I know Tyler doesn't like the product that I really appreciated seeing today.
I'm excited.
But I think one of the biggest things that we have is Formica countertops, and one of the biggest issues we have with Formica countertops is
you're saying Formica. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you're saying Formica, which is a name brand. What you mean?
Well, a laminate countertop.
Yeah.
Yes,
I do the same thing all the time.
Yeah, a laminate countertop. So the thing is, a lot of other manufacturers, they do it this way, but we refuse to at Rochester Homes because we don't want to put out a bad product, which I appreciate that. And that's doing like a undermount sink on a laminate countertop. There's always seams around that sink. So it looks really good at the beginning when you get to your house, but in 5 to 6 years, those seams, they're going to have some kind of moisture or water get behind them, and of course particle board, or I'm pretty sure it's particle board that's under it, will take on that moisture, and those seams will spread apart. So that's why we choose not to do any kind of undermount sink. But
on laminate countertop.
Yes. If we're doing a solid,
our customers like, hey, let's go to
solid surface.
Solid surface.
Absolutely.
And we push everyone to quartz.
But the biggest thing is, we're standard with a laminate countertop. Mm-hmm. So to get away with that, we saw a product today that it was
brand new.
It was brand new. It was definitely brand new. It was a lot thinner. It was made out of a different material that you could cut and sand down, and in between it,
paper.
Yeah, it was a pressed paper.
But not like when I think of pressed paper, I would think it would end up looking like MDF, like medium density fiberboard.
I would think so.
Like,
Yes.
like something you'd put a laminated surface on top of.
But the information that we got today,
it's like they heated it. They heated the pressed paper to a point where it became solid.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
it would look like a really skinny quartz.
Yeah,
yeah.
An inch, well, I wouldn't say 3/4 of an inch.
But the durability on it,
3/4 of an inch.
Yeah,
the durability on it was, I mean, it sounded really good.
well, he said you take a sledgehammer to it, and I would love.
Oh man,
I think that was a little extreme.
I wanted
by
to
that
say,
guy, but
please let's test.
Like
that right now.
I've got
Where's the
Cambria
sledgehammer?
quartz in my kitchen, and there's no way you could take a sledgehammer to it. I don't think you could take a sledgehammer to anything and not have a dent in it.
Yeah, that was salesmanship.
yeah, that
That
was
is worst, unfortunately.
I'm just saying it was a really neat product, and being, I mean, obviously our biggest thing is trying to find a good product at the market that we're at to sell to our builders, and yet have a really cool look. And we haven't been able to do that with a laminate countertop, and I feel this would be a great way to do that at the price that we want.
Yeah.
No, and this is where these guys don't understand sometimes is from a production standpoint, I'm all about if we can make it production friendly and we have no problems in the field and the customer is happy, that's all great. But goes back to when you put a prototype out there to get people, I don't know if it's to get people in your booth or whatever the case might be, I like to see the product work before that gets in the customer's hands. I guess it was my big argument to this. Now they just launched it, they bring it to the show, and that was 25.
First time most people have ever seen it today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what worried me about the whole thing. I mean, I love the basic concept makes sense,
Which
but
is affordable
yep.
quality.
Yep.
That's somewhere in between the price of
Quartz
laminate, which is super affordable, but over the course of 30 years is not necessarily a product that might hold up in all homes all the time.
If it's not maintained right.
If it's not maintained, yeah. I mean, it could, and I would argue that we use a post-form product, doesn't have any seams front to back of the countertop that helps take care of the product. You're not going to snap your belt on a self-edge. You're not going to get water down on a seam with a post. So I would argue we use a great product, but still, if it's not taken care of properly, if you don't make sure to keep water away from the substrate, then you're going to have problems with that affordable countertop. So this was exciting, Jesse. I'm trying to put words in your mouth, but because it was
I personally think
somewhat
that was
affordable.
one of my favorite things as a company to see, because it's giving us the affordability. It's marketing something that we haven't been able to do, which is the undermount sinks, or a lot of people are asking for that farm sink now.
Mm-hmm.
We aren't able to do that with a laminate countertop. So I think that product was
we
probably
won't do it with a countertop.
yes.
We
We
won't
won't do it with.
And I want to
countertop.
be clear too on a laminate countertop, undermount sinks. I'm confident enough, and I think I'm anal enough that if I put an undermount sink in my house with laminate countertops, that I would maintain it enough that I won't have problems. The problem a lot of times is you have people that don't understand the basic principle that water and pressboard will swell up. And I think that's where our fear comes from, is people let water sit on their countertop, or they let it get in that seam and not dry that off.
at the most integral point. Yeah.
Right. And that's where the problem comes from. Not necessarily the product itself. And you could go pretty deep with any product, as far as just basic maintenance that people, they want to blame it back on the manufacturer, which is really not the manufacturer's problem. It's the maintenance. You need to maintain what you have and understand what you have, but that is what it is, I guess.
I'll be the first one to say I don't like the way that Formica countertops look with an undermount sink, because you're undermounting to a paper thin top surface.
Yeah.
That is, the Formica overlayer. If you go look at a quartz countertop, go look at a granite countertop, Google these things, and what you're going to see is, an inch and a half of granite You can see the whole profile of the edge. It's beautiful looking. And then you see the sink come through. Mm-hmm. Whereas this product, you see the sink come all the way to the top
of your very specific
surface,
line.
and then a very thin line where that transition is. To me, it doesn't look anywhere near what it should look like compared to the undermount sinks that are like. So what my opinion.
But once again, we're talking about price here. Everybody would love to have quartz countertops,
right? Price.
But not everybody can afford them. But they still want somewhat of the look.
Which is why I agree with you today.
I feel that's our market, because if we're talking about quartz, how many of our houses have quartz? A very low percent. So that's we are going back to the very beginning of this conversation of what was this marketing? Less than 10% of their market. Now we're talking about quartz that we offer, yes, but we don't sell that much. So we are trying to cater to the people the clients that want the product, the look, but can't afford the real thing.
Yeah.
And that's,
well, it's a fine line. Like
it is, but we have to look
it's
inside
like,
from out.
It's like self-edge, self-edge tops are all right. We choose at Rochester Homes to do a post-form edge because it's all sealed off. But I know that for the most part, even if customers, frankly, are dumb enough to leave water on their tops, that it's going to be sealed off for the most part. If you have a self-edge top, that could leak down and swell up your countertops. I don't know. There's always that fine line between what's a quality product and price point product. You can get to the point where it's too much of a price point product, in my opinion.
Well, and we go back to your comment. I don't think this product has been out long enough to really
absolutely
tell that. I know for a fact that the reason that we will not do an undermount sink or a farm sink with a laminate countertop, how we have it today, is because of the seam, and we know it will happen.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting how this new product comes out and the feedback that people, come back with on moisture, and if it does, if that compressed paper material does expand when it has moisture on it.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to find out in the future.
I was excited about it because my job, sales and marketing, is to make you believe, or help you understand, maybe is a better way to put that our product is worth spending your hard-earned money on. Okay? And I went down to a house in Indianapolis not too long ago that was $750,000 sale price, and it had these beautiful quartz countertops, and it had master brand cabinets underneath, which is a mass production cabinet. There's nothing necessarily wrong with it, but what I was surprised to find was that it was the very entry level. No, it wasn't 3/4-inch plywood furniture, or 3/4-inch plywood grade product building the drawer boxes. It was, 1/2-inch furniture board. There was no dovetailing on the drawer boxes. It was stapled together. The drawer guides weren't soft close or under mount. They were side mount. They were probably a 50-pound drawer guide, maybe a 40-pound drawer guide. They were visible. It was a basic entry-level cabinet. And there's nothing wrong with that, but then you spend all the money to put quartz on top of that. And that's the way that builder decided to say, my home has enough value for you to spend your hard-earned money on.
Lipstick on a pig. It's like...
I was just going to mention something like that.
What I got excited to see today is you could help your customer potentially, upgrade the cabinets, which I hope you have for the next 20 to 30 years. At some point, of course, you're going to want to upgrade for design trends or whatever reason, but I hope you have them for a very long time because they're an expensive part of your home. But could you get a quality countertop out of this product? And some of our customers don't believe they can get a quality countertop out of a laminate, and so I'm saying to those customers, could you get a quality enough product out of this that you could buy your home and enjoy this product and be proud of this product, be happy to live with this product for 10 years, and then take all the money that you saved on the original sale price and build up to the point where you can go buy and afford an outrageously pricey product like Cambric quartz.
Well,
that's why I get.
I just wonder how many spec builders would go in there and they look at it and they're okay. This. Yep. I don't really, frankly, care about the longevity of this thing. Let me put it in the house. Let me sell the home, and the customers, whether it be a millennial or whatever, they come in, they say, man, this is solid surface countertops, because that's what they feel like. And then they sell the house, and as far as that spec builder is concerned, he's out.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where I have a little bit of brainworms with the whole thing, is I like to know the longevity of certain things, prior just to throwing it out there and marketing it, I guess. But truth's always somewhere in the middle.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing is everybody that's listening right now, this is the type of stuff that we have to go through before we even take on a new product. So,
this is nothing.
Rochester Homes, yeah,
Bring the engineering department.
Rochester Homes, obviously, as you can see, there's a lot of communication between all of us, and what that end user. We care about the end user and the products that they're getting in their home. So this is why we're having this fun conversation with everybody right now.
I appreciate the plug. This is why we brought salespeople on the show.
Yeah.
I like the Rochester Homes plug.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. What do you think? You want to keep going? You have more products that you had on your mind that you want to talk about?
I thought
Jesse?
I just wanted to kind of throw out the. We didn't really talk a whole lot about that ductless system. I found that very interesting.
I kind of want to save that for
and
a whole another podcast.
I know Alex loves talking about this kind of product, but I found it very interesting, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. I think it's just one of those products. It's just kind of barely, getting out there. I don't think it's quite what it can be. But I also foresee it in the future being something very big. And I thought it was pretty interesting just listening to the rep talk about it.
Okay, I'm going to put us on a timer because I didn't want to talk. I was going to skip over this product entirely.
Well, maybe we can hit it up tomorrow. We have tomorrow.
This is a podcast in and of itself, in my opinion, because I'm very...
ridiculous. He loves it.
I was going to say I'm very motivated that I think this could be a strong future of heating and cooling in America.
Absolutely.
But we have 3 minutes on the clock. I'm going to put us on the clock. Give me the pros. Give me the basic pros and cons. What we saw today. What we saw was Lennox product.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we only saw from one manufacturer. We'll see some for more tomorrow. But it's heat pump technology. Okay, so it's air source heating. Everyone's heard of geothermal. That's ground source. I'm going to pull heat up out of the warm ground. I'm going to heat your house with it. That's expensive to get into the ground. It's expensive equipment-wise. So this is air source. I have a condensing unit that's outside, sitting in the open air. I'm going to use that to create heat, pull it into your air. Oh, by the way, also, it's an air conditioning unit at the same time. It's going to cool your house in the summer. Okay, there's the basic of it. Now, give me the pros and cons.
Pros and cons. Pros, one, it would be something that we may be capable of doing in our home. Whereas right now we push for a more efficient system, and that's going to be done on site by your local HVAC guy.
Yeah, if you're going to put in a gas furnace, we believe it's not best done in a off-site built setting. And a lot of our competitors do it to the point where the Lennox guy, one of the reps today, said manufactured housing. He was grouping modular in with the connotation of manufacturer, which I didn't lecture him on, and you guys should be proud of me about that. But he said manufactured housing is known for wanting a really high volume of air pushed through their furnaces, and this isn't going to have it. And he said that because most manufacturers want to install a tiny, tiny duct and force a ton of air through it to get even heat throughout a house, whereas we think, go do it on site, get the appropriate size duct, a big duct, close to the furnace, and a small duct away from the furnace, and let static pressure drive the evenness of the house. You're
exactly right. This could be a very long conversation. I mean, once you say static pressure in a house, you're talking about a whole nother thing. It's going to be a while.
All right, we're going to do a terrible thing then. We're going to leave this one alone for today.
Yeah. Let's chat a little bit more about that tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Well, what else did you see today that you want to talk about?
Oh my! Well, we did talk with our Samsung rep quite a bit today. They have some. They have a new.
That's good. No, this is a good topic to end on. And I've got 5 or 6 more things. that we'll carry on to tomorrow. This is a good topic to end on. So this will be the last
new
product
color
coming
coming out
today. Go ahead.
New color coming out.
Tuscan
is the color. It's in between almost a graphite and a stainless steel. So it really, what I noticed, the biggest thing is
You said graphite. Do you mean gold and stainless steel?
No, the corner and saw that it's like a little closet that you put your really nice button-up shirts or your jacket, suit jacket, dresses, linens, something that you really don't want to take to the dry cleaners anymore. You hang it up and it actually does it for you. It was really cool.
Yeah.
Something I've never seen before.
And like, we live in a rural community where we don't have a dry cleaner. It's like I have a stack of things occasionally. That's like when I go to Nandy's,
well, I mean, we do,
go to
but
the dry cleaner.
We do, but it's scary.
Do we have one?
Yeah,
Take
we definitely have a dry
Man,
cleaner.
okay, I didn't know.
Yeah.
They send it out then. Is that right?
Mm-mm.
Oh man, I feel
Yeah,
really bad. I'm gonna have
welcome to
give up my
Rochester,
business.
man.
Yeah, I've only lived there for 10 years.
I'll drive you
Okay.
down the alley that it's in.
Okay, fair enough. The point is, for apparently idiots like me who don't know their own town, you get a pile of 3 nice sport shirts or button-down shirts, and instead of taking them to the dry cleaner, unless they have a stain, this little closet cleans them.
Once
And it
again,
was
this
12
doesn't clean
inches?
your shirts. It just
Well,
it doesn't take stains out. Let's go that route.
Yeah, it doesn't take stains out, but it cleaned your shirts. It took smells. I mean, it steamed.
Yes.
Steamed. It blew air through them. It steamed them. There were 4 steps. This blew air through them. It steamed them. It threw in a UV light
Dried them. Yep.
and dried them
A UV light to make them brighter? What's
to
that
kill
for?
bacteria.
To kill bacteria.
It kills bacteria. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Very
I
cool.
could be totally wrong there.
And it came in 2 different
Something else
colors,
I
if I
have to check
recall.
out. Yeah.
Came in stainless steel and
It came in white with a clear glass, and it came in a black stainless, which acted almost like a mirror.
yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a mirror.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Yeah.
And I saw that in LG too, which we didn't walk in because we sell Samsung.
Mm-hmm.
But it must be a trend of the appliance companies to try to bring dry cleaning down to the everyday man
Yep.
and woman. Okay, all right. So trying to
Overall,
wrap this up a little bit.
overall,
Let's
it
go
was
back
a
to the colors.
great day seeing some really cool products.
We're not ready for closing thoughts quite yet. So hold back.
Okay.
You're close. You're close. But the color thing, I just
Damn it, Jesse.
I wanted to pick your what colors did you guys see today that just like every booth,
Black and gray.
black and gray.
White.
Any adders there? Gold.
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 Rush gold.
I
Polished gold, antique brass, whatever you want to call it.
I'm
the
anxious-
color
I
is
hear
back. We're sitting in
It's
a
not
hotel
like
room
gold,
right
gold,
now.
though.
No,
Gold.
We're sitting in a hotel room right now where I'm looking at a mirror and a light fixture that is a polished brass or
Yeah.
brushed gold or antique gold, whatever you want to call it.
Gold's
the color's
coming back.
It's back. And some of our builders went to, I'm going to say this with a lot of restraint, it's not, in my opinion, a home show. It is the Louisville Manufactured Home Show.
manufactured is a key word.
I'm going to leave it at that because there's a lot of people
For
on our
some,
street who
for
would
some
get upset with me.
manufacturers, they put some okay stuff there.
The point is,
Yeah,
they
you-
came back
you
and
gotta
there was
be
one
fair.
home. There was one home, and it was built by a good manufacturer.
Yeah.
It was a nice home. It had tuxedo-style cabinets with a navy cabinet on the bottom and a white cabinet overhead, and it had, antique brass knobs. And I've had some of our customers say, like, "Oh, I can't believe that." And like my thing at the show is like, get ready to believe it. It's back. It's back. If it was, maybe I'm not old enough to know that it was gone, but like my thing is, it's here. Maybe some people that are a little bit older than me would say it's back.
The manufacturer put those on.
Yes, it did.
Interesting.
Yes, they did, Tyler.
Yep.
That's a whole other subject we can get into later.
Whether or not to install.
Well, hardware, lights. There's some things that I think me and Alex are going to see eye to eye on that I think they should come from a builder.
I think there's several different types of hardware that you could choose from, and it's very difficult for us to pick out 3 to offer. I totally get that.
from manufacturing.
But now you're getting into trendiness of, you're going into the blue cabinets, you're going into the gold poles and knobs. Next thing you're going to talk about is pendant lights that are round and either stainless steel or the gold color that matches the knobs and
but how many there's
we're getting to the point where I'm going to take your side, Tyler. This kind of stuff, why even offer it? Why don't we just put a J box up and have you go to a local store and get it?
I think we're on the right track with all that stuff for the most part. Let's offer what's trending for the most part. And if you got builders out there that want to take that on and offer and open the book essentially to customers, hey, go to Lowe's, get whatever pendant light you want. Go to Lowe's, get whatever cabinet pull you want. That's you could take modular to the next level with that. But but you could go so deep with that conversation. I mean that could me and Alex could probably debate over that for probably 2 hours.
I think we're pretty on the same page. I think we subscribe to the 80-20 rule. We try to select products that are 80% of the market, but we believe that 20% of the market that is outside of that is still so well served by modular. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, it's just that omit the lights, omit the flooring, and go do what you want to do outside. Be artsy and be creative. And that's my point. Is like there was gold there. There was brushed nickel. There was aura bronze fixtures. There was like every color. There
because
faucets.
They specialize in that market.
No, I'm just saying like there was. You walk through these booths and you saw I just feel like the doors are getting blown open. Mm-hmm. Is my point. There were faucets where the connector between the base and the actual head are black, and then the head is gold or brush. And Jesse talked about the Masonite doors that he saw that were pastel, 15 shades of pastel, and we saw bright orange doors, Therma-Tru, and Masonite had some exterior doors as well. And there was one other exterior door manufacturer, I don't remember the name of. They had bright colors, they had dull colors, they had simple, they had extravagant. My point is, like,
it makes it hard for the manufacturing industry. I mean, it makes for us, we're such a unique industry. You go into the let's say the faucet. You could design how many different variables of faucets, and it's still a faucet at the end of the day. With us, it's an entire home. That you're trying to manufacture.
Right, and we go back to the comment that Alex made.
Yeah,
80-20.
Yeah,
let's focus on 80% of the product that we put into the house. Let's talk about it, make sure it's a good product for the end customer.
Yep.
And then let them choose the other 20% on site once the builder puts it on the permanent foundation.
Yep. And I guess that's okay. We're going to do closing thoughts, and I'm going to lead, which is not my intention on most podcasts, but I'm going to lead.
That's not true. He always likes to lead.
I'm going to lead in this instance because it makes sense, I believe, with the flow of conversation. And I want to make the point that we're out here trying to find the 80% that makes sense. And it's hard to find at a show where they're marketing the 20%.
Exactly.
But we try to find that. We try to broadcast that out to our builder network and our retail customer network. And we try to serve 80% of the market. But my closing thought is, we believe in the ability to express yourself through the 20%. Mm-hmm. We just believe that if we don't offer it, that's okay. We can't do that and offer you the best price and the best timing all the time.
And quality.
Thank you, Tyler. But you should go get that. We believe in it. We do it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I went and got my own light fixtures and bravely installed them myself. But if I had a builder, I probably would have had them install it. Just we believe in that stuff. We're out here excited about that. I'm personally geeked out about it. I just love the innovation of the industry. But we're going to continue to try to adopt the best and the most practical stuff that we can adopt.
Yeah, I think
that's my closing thought.
Yeah, I know. I think the whole thing's neat. I mean, all of these businesses that are continue to expand their product, looking at what the customers are after, and then really reaching outside the box and trying to accommodate that 20%, even though they are mainly selling the 80%. It's pretty cool that really if you go back 20 years ago, mainly I don't know if it's because of technology or what, but it was hard to get exactly what you wanted. Now with all of the different technologies we've got, you can really get whatever kind of thought or idea that you have in your home.
Yeah.
So
agree. Jesse, closing thoughts.
Closing
Wrap it
thoughts
up for
by
us.
Jesse Flynn. All right, what I would like to say is we talked a lot about market tonight. And all I can say is if you're building a home, building a new home, if you're in a different market from us, make sure you find somebody that is going to go in and find the best product to put in your home to benefit you as the end customer. And that's what we're doing out here. We're trying to find the best product for you to put into our product so you are a happier customer. Period.
Okay, that's it. That's closing thoughts. Thanks everybody for listening. Hopefully we'll be coming back at you tomorrow. But for now, the bright lights of Vegas.